one. And a very good morning to the gelding on a special edition of That's Racing Gelding, the Easter Monday edition.
Yes, Professor. Hope everyone's had an enjoyable Easter. Hope their footy sides have done well. I know mine didn't, but I know yours are flying high.
Yes, we should have been on the Demons.
We should have been on the Godalmans.
They were paying about $2.65 when I last looked.
Oh, a week. Well, the Melbourne game wasn't a surprise, I didn't think, as we tipped them in our footy tipping. But the Mighty Tigers came down with a crunch on Saturday, Professor, and I think a bottle of Crawford River Riesling may be heading up north.
Ouch.
To Sydney. Ouch.
Ouch.
Yeah, you do like the bragging rights, but not to be. And today,
Gelding, before we get on to today, I just wanted to discuss Saturday's tips at Rose Hill. You were watching a sister racing show and heard some comments about the track.
Oh, Professor, look, racing, I suppose you take your risks and things like that. It's hard enough to pick a winner without having to pick, excuse me, what a track's going to do. They just said the Rose Hill track, after racing so well the week before after the floods, with the rail going out, it just created a fast lane in on the fence. If you weren't leading or just behind the leader in on the fence, you just had absolutely no chance on Saturday. And, we put tips up, and in the morning, well before we know how the track's going to race. And as you know, I always kind of say, well, let's have a look at how the track's going, when you're having your bets and things like that. But our tips on Saturday, the 4 tips, they said the track was not up to city standard. Entente, Bad Ride should not have given up the lead to Share Ambition. Cherry Tortoni could never win the race from its racing position and down the centre of the track. Crone, that we backed, pulled up lane because the track was too hard. And then our last one, Harmony in race 6, just got pipped on the line, Professor. So I suppose all we can say is that's racing, but something that you have to consider, I suppose. And when it's like that, it's just absolute guesswork, Professor.
Well, even on a difficult day, Gelding, we still managed to salvage 2 placings. So it wasn't all bad news.
Well, that's right, Professor. And, one had no chance and one pulled up injured. So, those things happen and stuff like that. But let's hope.
We live to fight another day, Gelding.
Oh, we do. And today at Sandown, even though the rail's out 10 metres again, Professor. So, I don't know what they do with these tracks sometimes. Do you reckon sometimes they could leave them where they actually, the rail's the same and then the jockeys figure out what's the best part of the races?
Well, it's been a while since they've raced on the Sandown Hillside track, isn't it?
I would have thought so, Professor.
Anyway, the track's a good 4, Gelding. I don't think we're going to get much rain today. So what are your 2 red hot tips for today at Sandown?
Well, Professor, I see no reason not to stick with the Victorian's leading jockey, Jamie Carr. So my 2 tips, I've gone in the first race at 1 o'clock, Horrifying, Mark Kavanagh, Jamie Carr. Look, it's a maiden race, but, Horrifying ran 5th last start, was making ground late on them over 1,400, steps up to 1,500. So I picked out Horrifying, but overnight, Professor, there's been 5 scratchings in the field of 10. So we're down to 5 horses. So we might be taking a bit short, but hopefully Jamie Carr can get this one home for us and get us away to a good start.
Just while we're on that, Gelding, I text you last night that I'd had a look at the fields and the races for today at Sandown. Seems to me that there are a couple of races here that might have been easier prospects for Drop the Mic than at Pakenham on last Thursday night.
Yeah, Professor. I did read that with a little bit of a giggle. Yeah, look, I'll send you the trainers report. Again, bit of a float incident on Drop the Mic. Pulled a plate, getting on there, had to be reshod, did all that. But
dangerous business, fighting horses, Gelding.
And surprisingly, the trainer said, "Oh, look, we might go for a weaker race at Werribee in a 58." After all that, which was surprising, seeing that the horse was also entered for Werribee 1400 last week, and she showed the race where you had horses that had competed in Group 2 races. So
maybe she's listening to you, Gelding.
Oh, far from it, Professor. I think. Is there something about 35-year-olds that they seem, as she said in an email to me, she knows the horse better than anyone, and she knows what she's doing. Well,
yeah, well, there you go.
Well, nothing like self-confidence, is there, Professor?
I've heard some lawyers say that, Gelding.
Yeah, I know. I was looking for a name in the top 50 trainers. Professor, I was looking for a name in the top 50 trainers of the state, and unfortunately she wasn't there. So I didn't want to point that out to her.
All right, Gelding, what's your other red hot tip for today at Sandown?
Well, Professor, we'll go to the second last at 4:40, race 7. Jamie Carr again for Matthew Ellerton and Simon Zara, and a horse called Dirty Deeds. Well drawn in barrier 2. Third last start at Sandown, beating the short half head, Professor. So was making some good ground. So hopefully Jamie Carr can, put the horse in the right position. I think the danger to it was number 2, which has now been scratched. So, but you're still getting the nice juicy odds of about $2.80, Professor. So be going race 7, number 9, Dirty Deeds. And you like, Professor?
Well, Gelding, I've gone for race 4. The interestingly named the Big Screen Company Handicap. Not like naming it after a famous jockey or racing administrator, is it?
No, it's there's some interesting thing. Well, I wonder, the Big Screen Company, we have a lot of Ladbrokes sponsoring of the races, but we've also got, I saw race 2, the Ivy print plate. So some interesting, interesting.
Yeah. All right, this is over 1,300 metres, Gelding. I've gone for horse 3, Bo Rossa. It's had 5 starts for 2 wins and a placing. So the win percentage is 40%, the placing percentage is 60%.
Yeah,
so that ticks one of our boxes. Has raced in South Australia until now and won its last race at Morphettville. It also ticks another box in that it's 1 second up, and this is a second up start for it. It's being ridden by one of our favourites, Gelding, Jamie Carr.
3 for Jamie Carr today.
Yes, whose last 50 rides winning at 22% average, and trained by a trainer we don't hear much of over here, Will Clarkin from Morphettville, but also has a small base in Ballarat. He's in career form at the moment, Gelding. His win ratio is 18%, but in the last 50, 26%. So very hard to go past that.
Professor Will Clarkson's a very good trainer from South Australia, up and coming, and is building his base. And when he brings them over here, look out for him. And when you put the leading jockey on board, certainly like this one, Professor, and probably think it's the bet of the day.
Yeah. Currently showing $2 on the tote or $1.65 fixed. Gelding, I got on it last night at $2.65 fixed. So,
beautiful, Professor.
Very happy about that. And I'm even more solidified in my choice because I thought the threat to Bo Rossa was number 2, Seb Song. Seb Song's been scratched overnight. So
beautiful.
So the big threat to it is gone. The second selection is in race 5, the Ladbrokes Handicap. Well, we know who's sponsoring that.
Yes.
over 1,000 metres. So the sprint benchmark 78. I was going for horse 8, All of Brighton, but All of Brighton's been scratched.
After running second on Saturday, Professor.
Yeah. So the threat to All of Brighton, I thought, was Calcarni Rose. Calcarni Rose being written by, once again, Jamie Carr. So we're going for the Jamie Carr Quadrella.
4 on Jamie Carr.
Yeah, four on Jamie Carr. Well, you know, we know that what she can do. The horse had 10 starts for 3 wins and 2 placings. It's won over the distance. It's just coming off a spell now, but has had 2 starts after spells for 1 win. So it can win in these circumstances. Its last race was a second at Flemington over 1,100 metres in the same class. So I'm thinking from barrier 2 and with Jamie Carr aboard and with the threat to it, All of Brighton being scratched, it should go very well.
Kevin Corsons knows how to train them, Professor, as you said, 10 starts for 3 wins and 2 places. And look, it's only been a short break. It was second on the 12th of December. So here we are early April. So the horse probably only had kind of 2 months off and then just, rekindled again, just to miss all the good horses in the autumn. So probably might be a good off-season type of horse to follow. So certainly like both of your picks today, Professor.
All right, Gelding, and the very successful Professor's Parlay.
Yes, very successful.
Our agreed bet of the day, race 4, horse 3, Bo Rossa.
Yeah.
We'll go to the NRL, Parramatta Eels to beat the West Tigers later today. Currently showing $1.28. And that into Delegan's Rabbitohs to beat the Brisbane Broncos on Thursday night, showing $1.10.
Oh, I like it, Professor. This is a winning parlay for the listeners. So what odds will they be getting, Professor?
Currently showing 3-1, Gelding.
Geez, that'd be nice, Professor. Bo Rossa gets up, and then a couple of nice rugby league results for us, and we've got money in the bank again.
Yes, Gelding, very much so. So from today's, shall we say, special edition of That's Racing, you and I again will talk next Saturday at around 10 o'clock.
Looking forward to it, Professor.
And until then, it's good luck.
And good punting.